Hello, everybody.
Yeah, where y'all at?
Okay, I couldn't hear you really good right there, but I can hear you better now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Okay. Hey, everybody.
Ain't nobody in here.
Oh,
It's still zero.
okay.
You want to give people some time to come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give people some time to come in here.
All right. All right. All right. Because we got some
If
good stuff to talk about today.
if these niggas come, let's see.
You'll see.
Oh, we got one. Who in here? Who is that? Don't just be in here. Comment. Let us know who in here.
Who's
Make sure it ain't
here?
the FBI or the CIA watching us. Oh,
Hey.
we got two people. Who in here? Oh, cuz. Okay. What's going on, cuz?
Hey, Michelle.
That's right. That's right. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We got enough. All right, so look, everybody. We got a good topic today. It's called censored. It's a lot of things going on, and we're not going to get into COVID. Okay, this is not what this is about. Uh,
Right.
we are totally for people's personal choice,
Exactly.
private, whatever. Right.
Yep.
But before we get started, we got a commercial break.
Do me a favor and
like, comment, subscribe
on this video.
Have a nice day.
Yo, what's up? Subscribe, like, and share this video. If you don't like it, share it anyway. Like it and subscribe. Appreciate
I love that.
Okay, so the first subject at hand is censorship, right? Okay,
Right.
and we're seeing it a lot more now. I think it pretty much started with Trump, and I know my opinion may be different from majority when I say this, but I don't agree with him being banned from all social media platforms. And I'm going to say this. This is my reason why. If we were to have Malcolm X in this day and age,
Right.
and his message as far as separation and all these other things, or whatever he had to say, right, that the government disagreed with, uh, that would have been grounds for him to be banned, even in him in the midst of uniting all his people. If that happened to him in this day and age, we would be raising hell.
Exactly.
So we have to be consistent. If we want our voices to be heard and not be tampered with or be silenced, we have to let those on the other side, however kooky they sound, however, whatever craziness is coming out of their mouth, you have to allow them to have their own personal space to speak their minds. You know what I'm saying? So the first video I'm going to show is a guy, Dr. Boyce Watkins. He's interviewing a woman by the name of Dr. Christina Parks, and she is she has a PhD from Michigan dealing with uh, the viruses and dealing with biology as far as how viruses affect your body and things like that. She had a hearing not too long ago, a few weeks ago, that it kind of got a lot of exposure, and she was talking about basically her opinion of the vaccines was different from what mainstream media is telling us. Okay. And that video got shut down. He posted it on his channel and they shut it down. He had to call YouTube and ask them, hey, what's going on? And they told him, hey, it's misinformation. He says, how is it misinformation when it's coming from a person with a PhD who specializes in what she was talking about? You can't just categorize as misinformation because it's not echoing what we hear every day on the news. So they put it back up. Then he does his interview with her. And I'm going to share this interview, some of the things that they were talking about, right? So let's see.
The people with bachelor's and master's and professional degrees, people with a little bit of college who didn't quite finish, and then here are the people with high school diplomas or less, almost up there with the PhD. It's utterly fascinating. It almost says to me that sometimes knowledge, it seems, on things like this, where you either know what the heck is really going on or you don't do anything because you don't trust the government. But Dr. Parks, you brought that up, and I'd like to get your thoughts on that. That was really fascinating. When you mentioned that PhDs are among the group that's the most hesitant to get the shot, I thought about myself. I thought about my sister, who's a medical doctor. I thought about other PhDs and MDs that I know who said, nah, maybe let me think about it. And so, can you kind of speak to that? What made you bring that up during your testimony?
Well, there's this social pressure that you need to be able to follow the science, right? That if you don't want this vaccine, you are anti-science, and nothing could be more further from the truth. Again, science is complex. There are always unintended consequences, and in fact, as I said, those of us who are scientists know that there are often unintended consequences. And until we're very, very certain about something, and they're also the hardest to persuade because we know what we know, right? Other people are like, well, I don't know who to believe. Should I believe my doctor? Should I believe you? Should I believe them? And so they're just kind of like, eeny, miny, mo. Okay, I'll trust them today. We know what we know. And if there's a hesitancy there, it's because we're not comfortable with that science yet. And so there are times when sometimes you wait to see what the unintended consequences are. Or maybe you just flat out say, hey, no, that is not safe, or whatever it is. But, you also are able to research. And so many PhDs will take the time to dive into the literature. In fact, they'd probably be more vaccine hesitant if some of them weren't just so busy and maybe they don't have kids and they just haven't spent the time to do the research. Because one of the things, again, when I was in graduate school, I didn't learn most of this. I had to go pull the primary literature, and I was like, whoa, where, most of us are like, where did this come from? Why is this not being talked about? And so, but more and more moms who had vaccine injured children, and unfortunately, many of those moms are Black moms, African American moms, who, I mentioned that the MMR study that Congress finally said, hey, do the MMR study and prove that the MMR doesn't cause autism. And they did it and found that it caused over, 3.7 times the rates of autism in Black boys that got their inoculations on time versus those who got it late. What would it be if they didn't get it at all? And they checked the data. Those experiments happened in 2002. How many Black boys' brains could we have saved if we had stopped? It's very, very upsetting to me.
So that's just some of it, right? And they delve deep into some things, right? As far as her opinions on the vaccine. And the next day it was shut down. YouTube shut it down, right? So the next day, Dr. Boyce Watkins had this to say. Let me get to it real quick.
Good morning, Boyce Watkins. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of things, mainly that health is wealth. And we're going to talk about what happened yesterday. I interviewed a wonderful sister by the name of Dr. Christina Clark. Dr. Christina Clark, her testimony before the Michigan legislature, it went viral. It was seen by millions of people. And Dr. Clark was gracious enough to come on the platform and give a really engaging conversation. Well, as you know, and I mentioned this to her, the YouTube bots decided to jump in and shut her down for medical misinformation, which is really interesting because she has a PhD in cellular and molecular biology from the University of Michigan. And I'm going to kind of talk about some of my thoughts on this, as well as kind of give you a breakdown of what's going on financially. And we're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Up to head, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. If you don't want to be more intelligent, then this is not the platform for you. Our goal as Black people is to get smarter, better, and also we believe in the B1 philosophy. B1 means that we are Black first. We put our community at the top of our priority list no matter what. B1 also means that by the year 2070, that's Project 2070, our children, B1 children, will lead the world. Also means the third thing. It means that we must be one to be hashtag B1 in the chat with a sister by the name of Dr. Christina Clark. Give me a yes or no if you know who Dr. Clark is. Give me a yes or no if you saw her testimony. If you have not seen her testimony, the testimony is actually she testified before the Michigan legislature, and I'm sure it was politically driven. I'm sure the Republicans were looking for people that are going to support their claims and things like that. But I got a sense that Dr. Clark is pretty apolitical. I don't think that she's trying to be Democrat or Republican. I think she was trying to just follow the science because she is a scientist. And Dr. Clark did a great job, and that video was viewed by millions of people. And I put it on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Go follow me on The Real Boyce Watkins. And I promise you, I won't waste your time. Every now and then I'll throw up a joke or something funny. Every now and then I'm going to piss you off. But for the most part, my goal is to challenge or think. I want you to be smarter. I want you to be better. I want you to benefit. The reason for these big platforms is not so somebody can get up there and tell you jokes and put on a dress and a wig and make you laugh every day. It's actually for us to grow, for us to build, for us to connect, for us to build Black-owned media. Excuse me. So every time I ask you to subscribe to something, and it's called the Black Agenda. If you actually want to understand it, she was really engaging, really super smart, very nice. I don't know what to expect. I really don't talk to a lot of I know scholars, a lot of them, but I don't really seek out a lot of people.
I'm sorry. I thought I had it at the right point of the video, but anyway, basically what he's saying is how he talked about how the interview with her was shut down, and his channel was suspended for a week. Okay.
Wow.
So, and my point is saying that you can go on YouTube right now, or basically any social media platform, and pull up the press conference of Joe Biden when he said that it was before the 4th of July. If you take the vaccine, you can go out, you can have fun for the 4th of July. You don't have to social distance. You don't have to wear a mask. Then here comes the CDC report of they surveyed and they dug into Massachusetts. They usually have a big shindig every year for the 4th of July. And they found out that 74% of the people who are contracting COVID and spreading it was 74%. It was people who were vaccinated. Why wasn't that video of him saying that if you take the vaccine, you don't have to social distance, you don't have to wear a mask? Why wasn't that those videos taken down as misinformation?
Right.
But if somebody who has an actual PhD says different from what the CDC or the FDA, who is regulated by the government, is saying one thing, but you have somebody else over here who's saying different, you're silencing them. I think people as human beings, we should have the choice to listen to whoever we want to listen to.
And that's for me, that's the bottom line is, if you want to take the vaccine, that's fine. And for those who have taken the vaccine, that's fine. But we don't need a government where, when you have a different view on something, they shut you down. That makes me suspicious. That makes
Exactly.
Okay, wait a minute. Well, why are you shutting them down? And it's not like our government has been so of a great government, especially for Black people. So that's why a lot of Black people are leery as it is because of what the government has done before. So, but like I said, my thing is, I need that choice. I need a choice to say, okay, I'm going to listen to what the CDC says, but also I want to listen to what this young lady, this doctor is saying, and then make my own decision.
That's right. That's how it should be.
And I think that's what it's all about. And because the bottom line is, they want to think that it's like people are stupid. We're not stupid people, People
we are.
do their own research.
Majority of us are. Majority of us are listening to mainstream media, and they're echoing their talking points. And whenever I have a discussion with somebody, not an argument, not a debate, but when I talk to them, they're saying the same exact things you would hear or see on the TV. And that's not good. That's not good. Because if you know what is behind each news channel, who is behind each news channel, it would give you a cause to pause. Okay. I mean, just for the simple fact that we all know if you watch CNN, you're going to hear a lot of Republican bashing and a lot of Democratic praising. If you watch Fox News, it's going to be the total opposite, right? CNN promoting the vaccine, Fox News saying, whoa, And I
Right.
think what gets caught up in the sauce is when we have an opinion on a certain side, whatever they say, don't listen to it. It don't matter. No, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. So when Fox News is saying, hey, we're weary about this, Democratic side making it political, both sides are making it political, but they're saying,
Right.
hey, look at them. Those are the people who supported Trump. Don't listen to them.
Right.
You know, it's not a political thing. It's a do your research science thing.
Right. And they're
You
trying
know,
to make it seem like the people that are not getting the vaccine are all Trump supporters, and that's not true.
right.
That's not true. Some people are not getting the vaccine because they just feel as though it's not enough information out there for them to make up their minds. But however, that does not give them the right to go out without wearing a mask and doing all the other stuff to keep people safe. In addition to those that are vaccine, you need to wear your mask and do all the same things too, because like you were just saying, a lot of people that that have taken the vaccine are also spreading the COVID.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and I understand too. They're saying that people that take the shot, if they get the COVID, they don't suffer as much as someone that has not taken the shot. So,
But they're also but people who take the vaccine are also more susceptible to it. They're more susceptible to it to the person who hasn't taken the vaccine as well.
right.
So that's another things that they're not. See, and that's my only issue is the transparency. Don't
Transparent.
push just one talking point down, try to cram it down our throats, and then when we ask you a question, oh, that doesn't matter. Take the vaccine, and now these mandates are coming. But it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy to the point where we have to choose different words to keep from getting shut down, right? So, like for the pandemic that we're talking about, we're gonna start trying to use the words pestilence, right, to describe the pandemic, right? It's another word for the pandemic. It means plague, basically. For vaccine, we can either say dose or inoculation. Um, that those are two words that can replace that. You know, so it's crazy how you just have to talk in code now,
Right.
all over again.
And I hated that they're making this political. People
Yeah.
lives are at stake. You know, people are, just want to be informed, and they're making it political. It's like anything to bring division. It's like the Republicans against the Democrats, the vaccinated against the unvaccinated, the and this is about lives, people lives, so that shouldn't be an issue. But hey, that's the way our government, that's how they function, and that's how people make money. And that's why you have so many senators and congressmen that are millionaires, because they know about all of this stuff. They have invested in the pharmaceutical companies because they know about what's coming up next. So they make more money this way. And that's why I'm leery about a lot of things too that I hear, because I know that they're it's all about money. It's all about greed, you know. And if anybody wants to make a comment, please make a comment, and we can address your comments if you're listening or whatever, and you want to make a comment about something we're saying. Because and that's what this platform is about. We're about the truth, never truth, beautiful truth. So we want to give both sides of the story. We don't want to just say, okay, we're just going to give one side. We like to give, opposing views on things, and to make people think. That's what we want to do.
Exactly. So
You
yeah, that's all I had. I know you want to
Yeah,
touch
and
on
I wanted to talk about some of you probably already heard about this, about the two senior leaders of the FDA that just resigned. They resigned, and I was curious about that, and I'm like, why would two senior leaders? And the names are Dr. Marion Gruber, he's the director, and things that we say, please go and check, fact check us on this, okay? Because we've done our research also. But anyway, Dr. Marion Gruber is the director of the Office of Vaccines Research and Review at FDA Center for Biologists Evaluation and Research, and also Dr. Philip Cross. He was the deputy director of the Office they were announced in an interagency email. They told everyone that they were leaving, they were resigning, and they say two of the reasons that they resigned was they had frustrations within the FDA when it came to the vaccines. Also, according to one source, one issue was that they had concerns that the CDC and its advisory committee had gotten into the FDA's lane when it comes to vaccines. And also, they were saying that the largest issue is that they were setting a goal for boosters, and the White House was getting ahead of where the science is and prejudging what the FDA would say. So the White House promoting the vaccines and everything, they were putting out information before the FDA was saying that, hey, yes, this was going to happen. Okay. So they said that officials within the FDA were stunned by the news of Gruber and Cross was leaving. But they said that the morale at the agency, at the FDA, which still has no permanent leadership, has been eroded by the intense workload brought on by the pandemic, and that they say the people in the FDA, the people that are working there, they say the morale is really low because of a lot of things that's going on, and people are saying things that the FDA is approving or what they're going to do, and the FDA hadn't said that yet. Even though now we know that the FDA has approved one of the vaccines, and I think the Pfizer.
Yeah, Pfizer, and they're working on approving the booster for Pfizer as well.
Right, and that's something that they say that those two guys that resigned, they weren't happy with the booster yet. They were not happy and were not behind getting that booster. So it's a lot of information that we need to know about before we go out and make decisions about our health.
That's right.
And
that's right.
You can't just just so easily just jump out there and do things like that because people's lives are at stake.
That's right. That's right.
So those are just some things that that we wanted to talk about with the FDA. I wanted to talk about with the FDA.
Okay. Did you want to? Oh, go ahead.
Also, I was wanting to briefly talk about this guy named Larry Elder. You've heard about Larry Elder, right?
Yeah, I heard about that coon.
He's a joke. He is a coon. He's a joke. Do you have the videos on him?
I got you. It's right here. Check it out.
Check it out.
By the way, when you mentioned that the UK was ahead of us, they were. Do you know that the slave owners were compensated? After they lost their quote-unquote property, the government compensated slave owners.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so when people talk about reparations, do they really want to have that conversation? Because, like it or not, slavery was legal. And so their property, their legal property, was taken away from them after the Civil War. So you can make an argument that the people that are owed reparations, and not only just black people, but also the people whose quote property, close quote, was taken away after the end of the Civil War.
So what do you make of?
And by the way, that's why there was no war in the UK.
Right.
The slave owners got substantial amounts of money.
That's fascinating.
And you look at the amount of money adjusted for today's dollars, it was a great deal of money that the former slave owners got, which is one of the reasons they didn't fight a war.
A few moments later.
You understand me, boy? Maria, rip your head. Hey! Fuck with me, boy.
You get that sorry piece of shit out of here.
Hey, Michael, stop.
I don't understand that. Here's a man that don't even like his own fucking people and running for governor. For what? He has 1 year to do if he even wins. He can't do shit.
Comedy segment of the week.
Comedy. And also I found something where he went to, it's called Godspeak Calvary Chapel Church, where he said that he talks about America being the least racist white majority country in the world. Really, Larry Elder?
And from the first clip, who he was talking to, is probably the queen of coonism. Oh, Candace Owens. There's no
Exactly.
need to look her up on no bio or anything like that. You know, what you saw is what you get. When she looks like she was just so fascinated, like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Because I'm quite sure if it was another sister in that seat, she probably would have cut that mic off and said, okay, brother, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to
Get out
roll.
of here. Exactly. So
You
for her
know,
to sit there and accept that and to listen to that crap, you know. But if
yes.
my thing is this, when I heard that and I heard about Larry Elder, what he did, whatever, Kevin and I both, we said, you know what? Let's look up what else has been legal. Okay. So I looked up and I found, well, it's more than just this, but I found 11 things, but I'm just going to tell you.
Hold on, Ma. For those who don't know who Larry Elder is, he is a radio show host. He is currently running for governor of California in a recall run with the current governor of California. So that's why that first footage with him and Candace Owens came out. And that's why in the second clip you see him walking in that neighborhood is because he's on a campaign trail. He was at a campaign trail at that point in time. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about these other things that he said. Okay, he said what having slaves was legal at the time. So that's why, white people, they should have gotten reparations along with us. Well, guess
Because
what
we were
else?
their property.
Right. So guess what else has been legal? Meth, opium, LSD, mushrooms, heroin, and ecstasy used to be perfectly legal. Okay. And this drug was approved by the FDA in 1944. And they treated things like spring allergies, alcoholism, and a number of depression, narcolepsy. Okay. Another thing that was legal, drinking and driving. And I think some of us remember when drinking and driving was legal, whereas you could have an open container in your car. Okay. Until they started killing so many people. Lobotomies. Lobotomies are when they do the surgical operation into the brain to sever connections to the brain. And they did that for depression of people who have schizophrenia and all this kind of stuff. And it could be enforced against an individual's will. You had forced castrations. That's the removing of a man's testicles. Okay. They could do that because they felt like homosexuality was illegal. So they would do things like castrations and different stuff like that. Okay. Also, domestic violence. In the 19th centuries, there was a rule of thumb which a man could legally beat his wife as long as the instrument of abuse was no wider than the thumb, which obviously varies by the size of a man's hand and the gentleman. Okay. So marital rape, all of these things were legal. Okay. So does that mean that now that all of these things were legal, and now when someone does something to get in trouble with these kind of things, we need to say, well, these things used to be legal, so we're going to let you get by with this right now. Okay. Because just like slavery was legal, and we paid them reparations. So we're going to allow, people to just get away with this stuff. Child labor and abuse was legal. To a certain degree, murder was legal. They said murder was widely legal in the United States if you were killing the right person. Check this out. If a slave master were to execute one of his slaves, it wasn't seen or prosecuted as murder because this was legally his property and he could do it with what he liked. As you know, raping one slave was also common. In the case of Native Americans, murder wasn't just ignored, it was encouraged in many cases, with local governments offering rewards for the killing or capture of Native Americans. So,
bam.
Really, Elder? Really? If we're going to talk about that, we need to talk about all those other things that was also legal.
Right.
That man is so ignorant. Right. He is so ignorant. That is so crazy. So
Well, so yeah, that's our quick just of what our topics today. Hope you guys, enjoyed. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
and just to keep you informed,
That's right. Keep you informed and tell you the beautiful truth.
the truth about everything, whether you want to hear it or not.
Oh yeah! Shout out to my Eagles who tore down them Falcons today.
Shout out to the Dolphins.
Didn't y'all lose?
No, we did not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And people are probably saying, wait a minute. You're in Louisiana. How in the heck? Weren't you a Saints fan? Well,
Flippity, flappity, flap.
not anymore.
Yeah.
Prayerfully, I won't be here that much longer. So I went back to my home team. Shout out to the Dolphins.
All right, y'all. Love y'all.
Love y'all. See you next time.